Left homeless by stepmom, she discovers a secret billionaire's life-changing offer at midnight. Rain pounded against the pavement, each drop a taunt as Sarah stood outside what was once her home. The porch light flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows as her stepmom's threats echoed in her mind. "Get out. You're nothing but a burden." The door slammed shut behind her, sealing her fate in the damp, dismal night. She trembled, humiliation burned in her chest like a wildfire. At just 18, she felt abandoned, stripped of everything she had known. The streets lay before her, dark and ominous, a labyrinth of uncertainty. As she wandered, the air thick with tension, she saw peculiar things in the shadows. The neon lights from a diner buzzed with an unsettling energy, while whispers drifted from alleyways, secrets shared among the night. But there was one sound that pierced the night, a clock tower chiming midnight, its rhythmic toll echoing in her heart. Each chime felt like a countdown, a reminder that time was slipping away. The world seemed to pulse with an unexplainable essence, a strange electricity that prickled her skin. Suddenly, a glint caught her eye, drawing her toward an abandoned building. The decay was palpable, walls cloaked in darkness and secrets. Inside, the air hung heavy with potential. Flickering candles, set up like a scavenger hunt, illuminated path after path of shattered dreams and unexpected treasures. A scent of aged leather and forgotten love filled her lungs, sparking both dread and excitement in her heart. Sarah hesitated, her intuition warring with the curiosity that wouldn't let go. Was this place a portal or a trap? Just then, a shadow moved in the corner of her eye. Sarah's heart raced, an inexplicable pull led her deeper inside. What she discovered held the promise of a whirlwind change. A figure stood tall, backlit by a rare silver glow. No words were exchanged, but the air shifted, thick with possibilities unspoken. And then, like lightning splitting the night, it struck her: this stranger radiated wealth and power. But who was he, and why was he here? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The figure took a step forward, revealing a face that was both captivating and intimidating. "I've been waiting for you, Sarah," he said, voice smooth as silk. Her stomach flipped. How did he know her name? Was this a twist of fate or something darker? The offer that fell from his lips would change everything. Would she risk it all for a chance at a life that seemed beyond her reach? Uncertainty gripped her. Fear mingled with hope. And somewhere deep inside, a small voice shouted, "This is it." What would it cost her to take that leap into the unknown? "You're at a crossroads, Sarah," he continued, stepping further into the dim light. His eyes sparkled, as if they held galaxies of untold stories. "I can give you what you need, a chance to escape this life, but it comes with a price." A chill ran down her spine as she sensed the weight of his words. What could he want from her? She scanned her surroundings, the walls of the building closing in, each creak echoing her uncertainty. The allure of his offer was strong, like a moth drawn to a flame, but the risks loomed larger. "What do you want from me?" she managed to ask, her voice barely a whisper. He chuckled softly, the sound oddly comforting yet filled with an undercurrent of danger. "Just a promise, to be my partner, to help uncover secrets that could change our lives. I need someone who understands the struggle. You've been given a rough hand, and I respect that." Partner? Was he serious? A part of her wanted to say yes, to leap headfirst into whatever this strange world promised. But a more rational part was calculating the potential fallout. "Why me?" she asked, her heart pounding louder than the rain outside. "Because I see you, Sarah." His gaze pierced through the shadows. You're resourceful, intelligent, and driven. You've endured more than most would in a lifetime. She felt exposed, yet a flicker of pride sparked within her. Could she really make a mark on this world? But impatience filled the air, a heaviness she couldn't ignore. What's the catch? The question tasted bitter on her tongue. A contract, he replied, his tone turning serious. You agree to work with me for a year. In return, I'll fund your education, provide you with a comfortable living, everything you might need to build your future. But he leaned in, his breath warm against her skin, you have to play by my rules. In this game, trust is everything. She hesitated, throwing a wary glance to the door, the darkness lurking just beyond the threshold that had once been her home. Could she truly trust him? But what choice did she have? The thought of returning to her stepmom's wrath made her sick. Once you cross this threshold, there's no going back, he warned, as if reading her thoughts. You're not just accepting a deal, you're entering a world filled with shadows. It's wild and unforgiving. Are you ready for that? Her heart raced, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through her veins. The temptations danced like the flickering candlelight, casting treacherous shadows of doubt. Do I dare attempt to seize something greater than this moment? Yes, she said at last, the words sounding stronger than she felt. The figure smiled, satisfaction flashing across his features. Good. Welcome to the ride of a lifetime, Sarah. From now on, nothing will be the same. As he reached into his jacket, producing a sleek black envelope, the weight of her decision crashed down around her. Read this carefully. With shaking hands, she took the envelope, feeling the smooth paper against her fingers. Would her instincts guide her in this moment? Or would she be opening the door to a world of calamity? A sudden crash outside sent her heart racing again. Instinct screamed, danger. The time for choice was running out. What was that? She exclaimed, her eyes darting to the door. He raised an eyebrow, the glimmer of a challenge in his eyes. Is this your moment to step out of your comfort zone? Or will you let fear trap you forever? Just as she opened her mouth to reply, a shadow darted past the window, and her breath caught in her throat. Who or what was out there? As adrenaline surged through her, she realized whatever happened next would change her forever. Are you ready to embrace your fate? He asked, the tension snapping like a frayed wire. With every ounce of courage she could muster, she nodded slowly. But what awaited her on the other side of that door? The air crackled with tension, thick enough to suffocate her. Sarah's heartbeat echoed in her ears, drowning out the sound of rain hammering against the roof. She could feel the figure's gaze boring into her, waiting for her next move. With hesitant steps, she approached the door, uncertainty clawing at her insides. Suddenly, another loud crash jolted her, reverberating through the room. Panic surged within her. Maybe we should just leave. The words slipped out before she could think. But he was already shaking his head, a wry smile tugging at his lips. Trust me, Sarah. Fear is a liar. His tone radiated confidence, pulling her closer to his orbit. Open the door. Embrace the unknown. A gust of wind rattled the windows, as if the world outside was alive with some chaotic energy desperate to break through. She could flee. Just a step back, through that same door, and the sanctuary of normalcy awaited. Or she could step into a dark adventure, potentially life-changing. What if this was her one shot at something more? With trembling hands, she reached for the doorknob. Her instincts screamed at her to turn back. But something else, an ember of defiance, nudged her forward. She twisted the knob and swung the door open. Darkness loomed before her, a dizzying abyss tangled with shadows. Her breath caught in her throat. Outside, a figure lingered just beyond the porch light, cloaked in mystery. It was only a shape, blurred along the edges, but it sent a shudder through her. Who's there? She called out, her voice shaking. Sarah, a voice echoed back, low and gravelly. We've been waiting for you. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a man with a chiseled jaw and piercing blue eyes that flickered like lightning. The ground felt unsteady beneath her, as if the very fabric of reality shifted with this newcomer's presence. "What do you want?" she demanded, though her heart pounded with intrigue. "I know what you seek," he stated plainly, his expression unreadable. "You think you're here for him, but it's really the secrets he's hiding that will take you to the next level. You'll want to hear what I have to say." The world spun as she tried to process this. The stranger continued to stare at her, his intensity almost intoxicating. She thought of the deal she just made, the looming shadows of the choices ahead. Was everyone in on something she didn't understand? "Leave him," he urged, stepping even closer, his gaze pinning her in place. "He can't be trusted." "You're smarter than that, Sarah." An avalanche of conflicting emotions erupted within her. Was this another opportunity or a trap? Her heart raced, and for a split second, she felt the weight of every possible choice she could ever make gridlock her mind. Before she could respond, the figure from the shadows, the one who had offered her refuge, stepped up behind her, his voice a low growl. "You should go. Now. Stay out of this," the new man shot back, intensity sparking like a live wire between them. "This is about Sarah's future." "But what about the past?" The first figure snapped, his gaze fixed on the newcomer. "What do you know about her past that she's not ready to learn?" The question hung in the air, heavy with consequence. Every second stretched, as Sarah felt herself teetering on the brink of a precipice, her entire world spinning out of control. Both men's eyes locked onto her as if she held the key to their fates. In that moment, reality felt surreal, like a fever dream. The decisions swirling around her demanded attention, but they all bore consequences she wasn't prepared to face. "Sarah, make your choice." The first figure's voice echoed softly, a reminder of the path she had just chosen. As she stood there, caught in the crossfire of their gazes, a rising panic surged within her. What was the truth? What had she stepped into? But deep down, she realized that every choice had consequences, and she was about to uncover what lay beneath the surface of the promises made. "Choose wisely," the mysterious man warned, leaning slightly closer, "because they might not give you the life you think you want." Her heart hammered in her chest. Every instinct urged her to plunge forward, but she had to know the truth. But would she be prepared for the revelations to come? The silence screamed, wrapping around her like a thick fog. Sarah felt frozen, caught in a swirling maelstrom of choices. The tension between the two men was palpable. It made every breath she took feel like a risk. "What are you talking about?" Her voice trembled, a hint of defiance coloring her uncertainty. She glanced from one man to the other, hoping for answers, yet fearing their truths might shatter what little certainty she had left. The stranger, his captivating blue eyes almost glowed in the dim light, stepped forward. "Your stepmother isn't who you think she is. The life you've lived, the family you've trusted, it's all a facade." The mention of her stepmother sliced through her emotions, a sharp jab of panic. "What do you mean?" The question escaped her lips before she could rein it in. "She's been hiding something from you, Sarah. Something enormous." He searched her eyes with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "You're not just some ordinary girl. You have a legacy, a gift waiting to be unlocked. But she's scared. She'll do anything to keep you away from it." "Stop. You don't know anything about my life." Sarah shot back, desperation clawing at her insides. But a small part of her, a nagging, skeptical whisper, was intrigued. What if there was truth in his words? "Everything you thought was yours isn't," he continued, unfazed by her outburst. "She's built her entire world on a lie. And it's time you uncovered the truth." Behind her, the other man stepped forward, his voice low and cautious. "Sarah, listen to him. This isn't just about you. There are forces at play that you can't begin to comprehend." "Are you saying I should just trust you?" she asked, skepticism sharpening her tone. How do I know you're not trying to deceive me too? The first man offered a half-smile, an unsettling glimmer of confidence in his expression. Because I've seen what lies ahead if you choose differently. I'm offering you a way out. A chance to discover who you really are. Sarah felt the weight of his words settle like a stone in her stomach. The flicker of uncertainty spread. Would she leave behind everything she thought she knew? Was there really more to her life than the mundane routine she'd known? Why should I believe anything you say? She pressed, her heart racing faster. Because when the storm clears, he replied, his voice steady, you'll either find your destiny or remain shackled in a cage of deception. The air thickened, the floor beneath her felt electric. Her instincts screamed at her to back away. To retreat into the familiar. But a roaring pulse of curiosity pushed her forward. All right, she said reluctantly. What do I need to do? Follow me, he said, stepping back into the darkness. Your journey begins now. As they moved together into the abyss, Sarah stole one last glance at the man behind her, who still stood on the threshold. His expression was a mixture of urgency and fear. Be careful, Sarah, he warned. The words echoed in her mind, turning in her gut as the door slammed shut behind them. The biting air enveloped her, thick with shadows, and with it came the taste of uncertainty. A road ahead unfolded, obscured and tangled, shrouded in secrets yet to be uncovered. But as the pounding of her heart dampened against the chill, she finally recognized that destiny had a name and it was hers. Would she be ready for the rush it would bring? The darkest corners of her past were about to reveal themselves. And as the figure led her deeper into the unknown, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had stepped right into a storm. What might she find waiting on the other side? The darkness enveloped Sarah like a looming weight, an inescapable shroud that thickened with each step she took beside the mysterious man. Her heart pounded in her chest, propelled by fear and fascination as they ventured deeper into an uncharted world. The air was cool and damp, yet the gusts of wind whispered secrets that tickled her skin. Where are we going? She finally managed to ask, her voice quaking with trepidation. Somewhere safe. Somewhere you can begin to understand, he replied, his eyes shimmering like stars in the night. As they walked, the shadows danced around them, twisting and shifting, contorting into shapes that seemed almost sentient. She wanted to question him further, to dig deeper into the swirling mysteries that churned in her mind. But the words caught in her throat, lodged there by an unsettling mix of fear and curiosity, that he stopped suddenly, gesturing toward a massive door set against a crumbling stone wall, the wood aged and splintered, yet sturdy. This is it, he said. Behind this door, you'll find answers. Her palms were clammy as she reached for the handle, hesitation coursing through her veins. She took a deep breath, feeling the storm of emotion within her rise and swell. With one swift turn, the door creaked open, and a soft glow spilled out, bathing the dark corridor in warmth. Inside, the room was a stunning juxtaposition of elegance and chaos. Bookshelves lined the walls, crammed with tomes that seemed to whisper secrets of their own. A large wooden table lay at the center, strewn with papers and artifacts that hinted at a life much larger than her own. And yet, it was the map pinned on the wall that caught her eye, a sprawling chart marked with pinholes and annotations that seemed to detail routes across the globe. What is this? She breathed, stepping closer, her fingers brushing against the worn paper. Connections, he said, his voice low and earnest. Your stepmother has been playing a dangerous game. Each pin represents a person connected to your past. They're all integral to untangling who you truly are. Her heart sank. Could this really be true? Was she a pawn in some grand scheme? You need to understand that these people hold pieces of your legacy, Sarah. His intense gaze bore into hers, and she felt the walls around her begin to crumble. Your stepmother is terrified of you discovering your potential. That's why she has kept you in the dark. But why? What potential? She blurted, emotion bubbling over. Her world felt like it was tipping on its axis. His expression shifted from determination to urgency. You possess something incredibly valuable, a power your family has been hiding for generations. Once you tap into it, you'll be able to change everything. But first, you need to break free from the chains she has wrapped around you. What if I refuse? She challenged, suddenly emboldened but still shaken. Then you'll stay lost in a life crafted by someone else. You'll never know the truth. You'll be trapped, he warned, the weight of his words hanging heavy in the air. Sarah backed away, scrambling through her thoughts. Questions collided in her mind like raindrops on pavement. Could she truly embrace a legacy intertwined with mystery and danger? Before she could respond, a door at the far end of the room swung open, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness, a silhouette that sent a chill racing down her spine. I knew you would find her, the shadowed figure hissed, a voice laced with malevolence. Her breath caught as the reality of her situation darkened like storm clouds. What awaited her now? Would she confront the truth or be ensnared by the very deception meant to protect her? With a flicker of panic igniting in her chest, Sarah felt the pull of her destiny deepen before her. The real storm was just beginning. What deadly secrets would unravel next? The figure stepped forward, the dim light revealing a face twisted with malice, sharp features and cold, calculating eyes that bore into Sarah's soul. Her heart raced, pounding like a war drum in her chest. Panic threatened to choke her, a sensation so raw it was hard to breathe. Who are you? She demanded, her voice trembling despite her effort to sound strong. The figure chuckled softly, a sound that sent chills down her spine. You really don't know, do you? Your family's secrets run deeper than you can imagine. The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. The man beside her stiffened, his jaw set tight. Stay behind me, Sarah, he ordered, his voice low and grave. But Sarah felt a force drawing her forward, a need to confront the nightmare that had invaded her newfound sanctuary. What do you mean? She pressed, pulling away from her companion's protective stance. What secrets? You, the shadowed figure said, a cruel smile spreading across his lips, are the key to it all. He stepped closer, each movement deliberate, as if savoring her fear. Your stepmother has her reasons for keeping you in the dark. You must be the last to know about what awaits you, an inheritance that surpasses anything you could dream of. The word inheritance struck her like a physical blow. They both held a weight far greater than just wealth. What inheritance? She whispered, steeling herself against the uncertainty swirling around her. Power, Sarah. Untold power. Your family isn't just wealthy, they hold dominion over forces you've yet to comprehend. His voice dripped with mockery as he continued, but only if they don't bury you first. Her breath quickened. The tension in the room was electric, thick as fog. Questions swirled like leaves in a tempest, but before she could voice them, the man beside her broke the hold of silence. Enough! He shouted, his voice echoing off the walls, resolute. You have no right to toy with her. You'll protect her. The cloaked figure taunted, the grin never leaving his face. She'll need more than your bravado to survive this. The weight of his words sank into her, an oppressive weight she couldn't shake. But then the man's hand found her shoulder, an anchor amidst the chaos. We leave now, Sarah. We have to go. Fear battled with her instinct to know more. She didn't just want to run, she wanted answers. Wait. What else do you know? She cried out, desperation tinging her voice. Foolish girl, the figure snarled, but there was a flicker of concern in his eyes. You are venturing into depths you cannot fathom. The man tightened his grip on her shoulder, urging her toward the exit. Sarah, trust me. There are things you're not ready for. You're worth more than you know, but you need to find the others before it's too late. The room felt like it was closing in, the map on the wall seemed to pulse as if alive, mocking her every hesitation. No. I can't keep running from my past. Sarah shot back, feeling the tide of determination swell within her. She had to confront whatever twisted reality awaited her. What if the truth held the key to everything, her identity, her family, and perhaps even her freedom. Suddenly, the Shadow's voice cut through the turmoil like a knife. You don't even know what you've walked into, child. But soon you'll understand. Maybe it's time to learn to embrace your destiny or be consumed by it. As the door slammed behind them, sealing the ominous figure in darkness, Sarah felt a flicker of hope alongside a chill of trepidation. She stood at the threshold of her future, uncertain yet unyielding. What lay ahead would test her in ways she could not begin to predict, but deep down, she felt a current of power, of potential rising within her. The storm inside was just beginning to break, and somewhere in the shadows, truth awaited her like a predator, claws poised to strike. What awaited her on the other side? Did she have the strength to face who she really was? The cold night air wrapped around them like a shroud as Sarah and the man stumbled out of that dimly lit room. The tension clung to her skin, prickling with raw energy, as they hurried down the winding hallways. Shadows stretched behind them, dark figures lurking in the corners of her mind, each whisper a reminder of what had almost ensnared her. Why won't you tell me what is happening? She gasped, glancing back toward the door they had just fled. What does he mean by all this? What other secrets? The man kept his face forward, eyes darting around as if danger lurked just beyond the edges of the darkness. You don't understand, Sarah. There are forces at play here that you've never even imagined, he said, his voice strained and urgent. But I can handle it. I need to know. She was desperate, her heart still racing, her mind whirling with possibilities. What is so important that I'm being kept in the dark? He stopped abruptly, turning to face her, tension pinching his features. You're not ready for this, he insisted. If you don't believe me, let me show you. Before she could respond, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small pendant. It glinted in the dim light, an intricate design carved within a smoky stone that seemed almost alive. This belonged to your mother, he stated, his voice heavy with meaning. A chill swept through her, freezing the air in her lungs. My mother? But she is dead. Yes. There was no softness in his reply, but a thread of empathy lingered. But this it's tied to what he wants from you, what this whole family is about. The urgency in his voice snapped something within her. What do you mean? What does it all tie to? Power, Sarah. His eyes moved to the pendant again. The power your family has always hoarded. Your stepmother doesn't want you to know because with knowledge comes danger. If you understand your heritage, you also understand the enemies that exist. They'll come for you. She tried to grasp the weight of his words, but it felt like trying to hold water with her fingertips. Enemies? Why would anyone be after me? Because they see you as a threat, or a tool, he replied, jaw tightening. This pendant is just the tip of the iceberg. You need to learn more. She felt the pull of the pendant, its gravity whispering ancient secrets into her ear. What was this legacy she had inherited? Before she could linger on the thought, a loud noise echoed through the corridor, puncturing the quiet. A door slammed somewhere behind them. Footsteps echoed, aggressive and purposeful. Voices thundered down the hall, growing louder. We need to go. He urged, shoving the pendant into her palm. Keep this hidden. Your life depends on it. The frantic energy sped their movements as they raced down the winding stairway. Sarah's legs felt heavy with dread, the thought of being caught pressing against her like a weight. She glanced back once, heart racing as a shadow flickered at the top of the stairs, a dark silhouette framed against the flickering lights. Faster. Her companion's voice compelled her, and they burst through the emergency exit onto the cool night streets. The fresh air hit her like a slap, grounding her just as the sounds of pursuit echoed in the stairwell behind them. What now? She panted, searching the streets for sanctuary, for safety. We get you somewhere safe, he replied, his gaze scanning the surroundings. But we can't stay together long. The closer we get to unraveling this, the more dangerous it gets. There are others who still want something from you. From me? What do they want? Panic bubbled up again inside her, threatening to spill over but resolute, she swallowed it down. His hand gripped her shoulder, a firm reminder she wasn't alone. Everything. But first, we must find a way to keep you safe. Without another word, he led her deeper into the night, a maze of alleyways and shadows where danger lingered in unseen corners. They turned left, then right, weaving through the darkness as if the world itself were conspiring against them. In her chest, a spark ignited. She felt the power within her again, that current rising with each heartbeat, beckoning her closer to the truth, but little did she know, someone was watching from the shadows, waiting to pounce at the first sign of weakness. What would happen if she didn't find the others in time? Would the truth set her free, or would it swallow her whole? The air was thick with tension as they hurried down the narrow alley, dimly lit by flickering streetlights overhead. Sarah's heart raced, each beat echoing like thunder in her ears. She clutched the pendant tightly, its cool surface a stark contrast to the fire now burning inside her. Questions swirled in her mind. Who were the enemies her companion spoke of? Why was her family caught in a web of secrets and power? Here. He pointed to a small, unmarked door at the end of the alley. We need to get inside, quick. She didn't hesitate, following him inside. The door creaked loudly as they entered, enveloped by darkness. The cramped room was cluttered, the scent of damp wood and something acrid in the air. A tiny window, painted over with grime, barely let in any light. Sarah's pulse quickened. The sense of being hidden felt strange but necessary. Her guide swiftly locked the door behind them, leaning against it as if holding back the world outside. We have a moment, he whispered, looking at her with urgency. But it won't last long. They'll be searching. Searching for what? She demanded, frustration lacing her voice. For you, Sarah. They're looking for the pendant. It's more than just a family heirloom. It's a key that unlocks everything. What do you mean unlocks everything? She took a step forward, needing answers. What's so special about it? Why can't we just go to the police? His expression darkened, an unseen weight pressing on him. The police can't help you. Nobody can. This isn't just a family issue, it goes deeper than that. It's about power structures that have existed for centuries. Your stepmother is intertwined with them. She doesn't want you to uncover the truth. The air grew heavy, the truth of his words settling like a stone in her belly. Why would she want to keep me in the dark? If she cares about me, he shook his head, cutting her off. It's not about care. It's about control. The moment you learn who you really are, everything changes. You'll become a target. Target for what? Her voice trembled with fear. To take everything you might inherit or to remove you as a threat. She doesn't want you to possess what your mother had, what has always belonged to your family. The gravity of his confession weighed heavily on her. Was she simply collateral damage in a battle she didn't choose? The thought made her shudder. What do I do now? We have to find the others who are aware of this legacy. They can help you navigate through the dangers ahead. You need a mentor, someone who knows the ropes. Others? Her heart raced anew. Who were these people? How could she trust him? She was about to voice her concerns when a loud bang echoed from outside the door. Sarah froze, her breath hitching in her throat. The sound of footsteps approached, heavy and deliberate. The man's eyes widened with alarm. They found us, he hissed urgently. Stay behind me. Sarah pressed against the wall, the chill of the old wood seeping into her skin. She felt the pendant pull at her awareness, a strange warmth emanating from it as though it sensed the encroaching danger. The footsteps halted just outside, accompanied by murmured voices. She strained to hear, adrenaline coursing through her veins, but it was impossible to catch any specific words, just a low hum of intent, threats wrapped in darkness. Let us go. We need to escape through the back, her companion whispered, breaking the silence like a blade. As he turned to lead her away, the door suddenly rattled ferociously. Someone was forcing it open. Sarah's heart raced in her chest, a primal fear gripping her. She glanced around, searching for any means of escape. But as she turned back, the door burst in, revealing two shadowy figures silhouetted against the dim light outside. "Found you!" they shouted, eyes glinting with malice. Panic surged through her. Fight or flight. They were out of time. What would she do now? Could the pendant truly protect her, or was it just a trap waiting to spring? The door crashed open, and the two figures lunged into the room like storm clouds, relentless and dark. Sarah's heart hammered against her ribcage, raw fear flooding her senses. She instinctively stepped back, though there was nowhere to go. "Get down!" her companion shouted, shoving her behind him just as a glint of metal sliced through the air. He dropped low, and Sarah barely registered that he had grabbed a nearby wooden chair, swinging it toward the intruders like a weapon. The impact of the chair splintered against one of the assailants, causing him to stumble back, rage igniting in his eyes. "You'll pay for that," he spat, wiping blood from his lip. The other figure, tall and muscular, had pulled out a gun, its cold barrel aimed directly at Sarah. "Stop! Don't come any closer." She had never thought she'd be shouting those words to anyone, let alone in a life-and-death situation. "Sarah, listen. We need to move." The urgency in her companion's voice cut through the chaos. They won't hesitate. The gunman steadied his grip, eyes narrowing with determination. From the corner of her eye, Sarah spotted the pendant softly glowing against her chest, almost pulsating as if alive, feeding off her rising panic. "In the back," her guide urged, his expression shifting from anger to desperation. He dashed toward a small door at the far side of the room, gesturing for her to follow. As the gunman took a step forward, the other intruder regained his footing. "You can't escape," he yelled, but the command felt more hollow than confident. Dread locked Sarah's limbs for a heartbeat, but instinct propelled her. She darted in her companion's wake, heart racing, breaths quickening. Just as she reached the exit, the gun erupted in a deafening crack, sending shards of wood from the doorframe splintering. She felt the rush of air as the bullet zipped past, too close for comfort. "Go! Now!" Her guide's voice cut through the din, breaking her daze. They pushed through the door, tumbling into a narrow hallway that led deeper into darkness. Time blurred. They stumbled blindly, hearts pounding in tandem, until they reached a staircase spiraling downward. "Quick!" he urged, pulling her along. But doubt crept in like tendrils of smoke. Who were these people chasing her? Why did they want the pendant? "I need answers," she panted as they descended the staircase. Her voice echoed in the musty corridor, bouncing off the stone walls. "What's really going on?" "Not now," he snapped. "Just trust me, Sarah. You'll understand soon. Just keep moving." They reached a dimly lit basement, strewn with dusty crates and flickering lights overhead. A faint glow emanated from one crate. Her pulse quickened. The pendant around her neck hummed softly, urging her to draw closer. "Stay close," he warned, scanning the shadows warily. Suddenly a rumble echoed through the basement, and the floor shook beneath them. What was that? She gasped, fear curling tightly in her stomach. Her companion's face tightened. That could have been them. They're getting closer. Seconds turned into a string of agonizing moments. The shadows seemed to dance around them, mocking their fear. "Where are we going? What are we doing down here?" Panic crept into Sarah's voice. "There's a safe house," he replied breathlessly. "A place where we can regroup, figure out our next move. But we have to move now before they find." A loud crash shattered their urgency as an explosion of wood splintered across the basement. The door at the top of the stairs collapsed inward. "Down!" he shouted, bringing Sarah to the cold ground. She clasped her hands over her head, the cold fear paralyzing her thoughts. As the dust settled and panic clung to her skin, a chilling voice pierced through. "You think you can run? We're only just beginning." And there it was, the promise of carnage looming dangerously close. What awaited them on the other side of the wreckage? Would they be captured, or could the pendant reveal its true power in their desperate moment? The dust settled around them like a curtain of uncertainty, and Sarah's eyes widened as she hoisted herself up to see the damage. Her heart raced as the dust began to clear. What do we do now? She whispered in mounting dread, her eyes darting toward the fractured door. She could feel the fear radiating in waves from her companion. Follow me, he urged, urgency spilling from him as they scrambled to their feet. They dashed deeper into the basement, sidestepping falling debris, the echoes of chaos still ringing in their ears. The glimmer of the pendant at her neck thrummed with an undeniable energy, warmer now against her skin, as though it were urging her to move faster. What's this safe house? Where are we going? Sarah choked out, breathless. Panic clawed at her throat. She had plunged into a world of terrifying secrets, and now fear had become her relentless companion. That he skidded to a stop before an old wooden panel, hidden behind a stack of crates. This is the way. He clasped the edges of the panel and pulled with all his might. With a loud creak, the entrance swung open, revealing a narrow tunnel leading into darkness. Sarah felt a pang of nervous excitement, the air was heavy with unspoken truths. Get in, he urged, glancing back as the rumble of footsteps grew louder above them. They hurried inside, and he pulled the panel shut just as another loud crash rattled the air. They were engulfed in an inky blackness, the only sound the pounding of their hearts echoing the intensity of their situation. Why were you sorely pressed to get away? Why do they want me? She finally managed to ask, each word trembling like leaves in a gale. Your stepmother, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, has connections to an ancient society that guards secrets. They believe you're the key to reclaiming powerful legacies because of your mother. What kind of legacy? Her mind was racing. She felt an echo of hope mixed with the raw line of fear. And why would they kill to keep me from it? Because of the power that comes with it, Sarah, he replied, urgency etched into his every word. It's not just wealth, it's dominion over realms people have only whispered about. Your mother was involved, and you carry that lineage. They can't let you awaken any dormant abilities. Awaken? Abilities? Her stomach twisted with anxiety and confusion. Was she meant to be something more? But here, in the confines of darkness, she felt something change in her. The pendant grew warm again, almost pulsing now, as if it knew its time was coming. Suddenly, the ground beneath her shimmered. A surge of energy coursed through her veins. What's happening? She breathed. I don't know, he said. Trust in yourself. Hold on to the pendant. It might be the key. And before she could question any further, a sudden rush of wind rushed through the tunnel, swirling around them, suddenly illuminating a path of faded symbols etched into the walls. Look! Sarah gasped, her fingers brushing against the intricate carvings that seemed to react to the pendant's glow. It resonated against her heartbeat, filling her head with a choir of whispers echoing familiar promises of power, strength, and most importantly identity. This is what they've kept from you, he said, all mixing with urgency in his voice. Your lineage is more than you realize. We need to decipher these markings. How? She felt overwhelmed. Images of a life shattered mingled with newfound visions of power waiting for her. Let instinct guide you. The pendant is linked to your gifts, maybe even to these markings. With determination settling within her, Sarah closed her eyes, breathing deeply. She focused on the warmth of the pendant, trusting it to unveil what she needed in that very moment. As she reached out, the symbols began to pulse alongside the pendant. Each vibration sent a ripple of energy coursing through the air, weaving them closer together, connecting her essence to the magic imbued in the wall. I can feel it, she stammered, excitement lacing her tone. It's strong. Just a bit more, her companion encouraged, his voice blending with the melodic hum that was growing louder. You're almost there. The whirling energy coalesced in a vibrant glow. The symbols shifted in response, revealing a pathway through the chaos. And then, with a sudden flash, Sarah opened her eyes. The tunnel exploded in a brilliant light. Holding on to that light, freeing herself from fear, the unknown stretched ahead. "Let us go!" she shouted, stepping into the illuminated path, hand clasped tightly on the pendant. The light merged with the darkness, transforming barriers into bridges, giving wings to her greatest dreams, unfolding a legacy waiting to be reclaimed. Together, they dashed forward, leaving uncertainty behind. The chase would continue, but now with clarity, they emerged into a world shimmering with possibilities, ready to confront the shadows that threatened to consume them. What awaited them, the very truth they were yet to uncover, now crackled with potential. Life was no longer about running away, it was about finally embracing her destiny. As they moved into the unknown, filled with hope and unwavering resolve, Sarah knew her journey was just beginning. She was ready to wake her power. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next chapter in Sarah's incredible adventure. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more fans. Flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about what happens next, and instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this conclusion. This is the moment to show your support for the channel. Don't wait even one more second to share.